Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through the ABRSM Theory Grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets which you can download in US letter or A4 to accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also find out about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam, and also how to make the best use of your time come exam day when you're actually sitting in the exam room working through the exam paper. So if you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated, and please do share out the videos too. And now we're going to crack on with the final questions of the sample paper, paper S, at the end of 2018 grade 5 practice papers. So looking at question 6 for starters, if you turn with me to page 26, we can work through that together. So I'm hoping you've had a go of this on your own. First of all, always better to learn by your mistakes, and now I'll check through these with you. So we have a little extract here to return to over the page as well. And so we have a little bit of definition to give here. This is a multiple choice format now, but bear in mind this could be anything from grades 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. So there's nothing for it but a good chunk of revision there to help you. If you want to test yourself, do some revision, maybe group things thematically through all your grades, anything to do with slow or fast or quiet or anything linking words, whatever makes sense to you, and then maybe even colour code them to help you remind yourself of them. And then I've done your little spot test here at the end of the PDF document if you want to just check how you're going with your revision. So let's go ahead. Now this one isn't too tricky. Deciso, it looks sort of decisive, doesn't it, with determination. So that's soon done. The next one, we're asked to add a correct rest or rests. That's the important part at the place marked with a star to complete bar 1. So it's here we're looking at. Now we're on 3 minim beats per bar, 3 half notes per bar. So let's see what we've got. Now you might find it easy just mathematically to think, just for this particular question, 6 crotchet beats. It isn't actually, but and so musically speaking you wouldn't do that, but you might find it easier with the maths. Alternatively, there's 2 crotchet beats, 2 quarter notes. There's your one of your minim beats, there's another of your minim beats. We've only got half of a crotchet beat there, we've got a quaver and 8th note, so that means we need to have another crotchet and a quaver's worth, or really I should say a quaver and a crotchet's worth really, to finish that minim beat. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5, 5, 6 crotchet beats. Mathematically it works out, musically it doesn't, but just to help you with your maths here. Now you can't just do a dotted crotchet rest, that isn't acceptable. That sort of implies compound time, and also we need to finish off this quaver here before we move on to the next part of the beat. So what you would have to do is a quaver and 8th note rest and then a crotchet beat rest to fill the maths in there. So keeping this little extract to hand, let's turn the page and see what we're asked to do here. So then we're asked to rewrite the 2 notes in bar 2 marked with a bracket. So here, these 2 notes here, we've got to make sure they sound at the same pitch, but we're jumping now into tenor clef. So we need to put in the new clef and the key signature. So the tenor clef is higher up. The second line from the top is middle C, which the clef centres around, and the key signature is F sharps and C sharps. We have to go low for the F now. C, B, A, G, C, B, A, G, F. There we go, F sharps and C sharps. Not a clef I use often, so I just have to work that out. Now then, keep middle C as your anchor point, and that way you won't get the pitch wrong and end up changing octaves. So there's middle C in the tenor clef. Now here we're in the treble clef, so middle C is here at the bottom of the treble clef, and so here we've got one step above and then a third above again to get to the F. So we've got the D and the F just above middle C. So C, there's the D, E, F, a third above. So let's just join this together as quavers or eighth notes, and that's job done. There we go. Now then, a bit of maths. How many demi-semiquavers or 30-second notes are the tied notes in bar 1 worth in total? So here, this tied note here. So what I'm going to do, just because it's going to make quite a big diagram, because I prefer to diagram this out, maths not being my super strong subject. So working out how many there are in a crotchet or a quarter note to begin with. So there are 2 quavers, 2 eighth notes to a crotchet or a quarter note, 4 semiquavers or 16th notes, or 8 30-second notes or demi-semis. That's in one crotchet. Now here we've got 2 crotchets worth tied to a quaver, so it's 8 times 2 to make it a minim's worth, which is 16, and then it's tied to another quaver here, so that's half as much again, so plus 4, that gives us 20. There we go, got there in the end. If you're a bit of a maths whiz, you'll have got there much quicker, no doubt. So let's press on. So now we need to rewrite a certain bar, but we've got to change it to half the value. So we've got to change the time signature. We've done a bit of thinking for this already. We know that there are 3 half notes, 3 minim beats per bar. We must stay in triple time, so there's still 3 beats per bar, but to halve the value, we go from half notes to quarter notes, minim beats to crotchet beats. So our new time signature is going to be 3/4. So now then, let's look at bar 3. So what we will have to do is to halve everything. That will have a tail on, that will become a dotted quaver, dotted eighth note. This will have 2 tails on now, so that will become a semiquaver or a 16th note, and then to halve this we'll put a stem to make that into a minim or a half note, and we can see that then that would fit the timing. And of course now we're going to have to beam this because we've got 3/4 of a beat and a quarter of a beat, so we have to beam them to show this new quarter note or crotchet beat. So let's get the pitch in. So just copying over the page, that's a dotted G sharp to C, and then we're going right, oh, make that a bit bigger, shall I? And then right up to top, C with a pause. So these will be beamed together. Use a ruler, shall I? And then this will have a stem, and we can see 1, 2, 2 3/4, 3 beats. That fits that time signature, so we know we're correct. So last little bit of observation now, let's give the letter name of the lowest note in the extract. So how low are we going? Glancing through all these ledger lines, that's the lowest. So first of all we need to count. So we can either count from one note that we're familiar with. We know that's middle C, so we could count backwards. C, B, A, G, F. That's not quite the full story yet, but we know that's note F there. Alternatively, you can count up an octave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which takes us to F, so we know we're an octave lower there. So that's an F, but don't forget your key signature is F sharps and C sharp, so that's an F sharp. So don't forget your key signature there, F sharp. And now we're moving on to the last question of the last paper in the booklet, so we're nearly home. This is always my favourite. I really like these cadence questions. Once you've done your thinking and mapping out what chords you're looking for, everything you need to know is here, and so it's easy peasy. Let's just write out our chords. We're looking for chords 1, 2, 4 or 5. Now we can't choose those till we know what key we're in. We've got 2 sharps. We're in D major, so chord 1 is based on a D, 2, E, F, G, A. So now build up your triads, 1st, 3rd, 5th, D, F, A, E, G, B, G, B, D, A, C, E. And we know we're correct here because 1, 3, 5, the 5th forms the basis of your chord 5. So we've got to choose chords to suit here. Now then, we need to choose chords that will be appropriate for cadence points. So if there's an option, we need to make sure we choose one that is appropriate to the cadence. So just to refresh your memory what your cadences are, we've got 5-1, which is a perfect cadence. It sounds perfectly finished. It's quite a strong close, like a sort of ta-da sort of ending, if that makes sense. 4-1 is a plagal cadence. Again, it sounds fully finished, but it's a more gentle close, a bit sort of like an amen sound. And then we have anything chord, any old chord to chord 5, which leaves you hanging. Chord finishing on chord 5 doesn't sound finished at all, and so that's an imperfect cadence. And then 2 is also a good lead in to your cadence point. And we also need to thin out which are the harmony notes of the chord and which are passing notes. So passing notes are just filling in step the notes of the harmony notes. So here we've got B, G, B and an A. That A is not part of your chord, that's just a passing note, just filling in the gap, passing through by step. So actually we've got a B and a G. So we've got a B and a G here, and we've got a B and a G here. So it could be a chord 2 or it could be a chord 4. So either one, we'll go for chord 4. There we go. Now here we've got A, G, F, D. So the G is your passing note. So we've got A, F, D. Of course it's F sharp, but your key signature deals with all of that. So there's chord 1. And then here we have an E, D, C. The D is a passing note. So we have a C and an E, which is chord 5, mostly represented. So that's that, and it shows we're on an imperfect cadence, doesn't sound finished at all, leaving you hanging. So here, this A is a passing note, so your harmony note, you can see it's just filling in between those 2 harmony notes, which are B, G, D. So that's a chord 4. And then we have a D and an A, which is chord 1. So there we have our plagal cadence to gently bring things to a nice close. And that's the end of that question, that's the end of that paper, and that's also the end of the Grade 5 2018 past paper booklet. I do hope that's been helpful to you. These practice papers are an excellent revision resource. I do recommend that you work through lots and lots of these in preparation for your exam. Even the older years where the questions have changed a little bit in the layout of the paper, they're still excellent revision resources. I've worked through lots of these years online from 2014 onwards, so do make use of those and give yourself lots of practice and preparation, and check out those videos to help you work through those past papers. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel. Please share out the videos, and please do visit sharonbill.com to make use of all of the resource and information that's available there to help you. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.